Behind the fame lies a truth few dare to speak. These 15 black celebrities did not just raise children, they stood up for them, even when the world looked away. From quiet revelations to bold declarations, their stories will surprise you. Think you know which comedy legend changed stand-up forever in the 1970s? Stick around. This is LGBTQ+ vibes, where truth shines brighter than fame. Like, comment, and let's begin. He was the voice of raw, unfiltered comedy, an icon who tore through taboos with a mic in hand. But behind Richard Pryor's explosive stage presence and groundbreaking routines was a personal life full of chaos, complexity, and contradiction. Offstage, he battled addiction, unstable relationships, and the heavy weight of fame. Among his 7 children, one would grow to carry not just his name, but also his fire. Rain Pryor, born into the whirlwind of celebrity and controversy, would become a figure of truth in an industry built on illusion. As the daughter of a legend, Rain Pryor grew up with a last name that opened doors, but came with expectations she never asked for. While she followed her father's footsteps into the entertainment world, as an actress and comedian, it was her own moment of truth in 1995 that redefined her public identity. At age 26, Rain came out as bisexual, in a time when the visibility of LGBTQ+ children of black celebrities was nearly non-existent. The catalyst? A few candid photos surfaced of Rain sharing affectionate moments with a woman. But instead of hiding or deflecting, she chose courage. Rain addressed the speculation head-on, speaking her truth not only for herself, but for others who had never seen someone like her do it first. Her coming out was not just a headline, it was a declaration of independence. Rain Pryor didn't want to live under anyone's expectations, not the entertainment industries, not society's, and not even those linked to her legendary family name. She went on to use her experience as a platform, writing a powerful memoir, Jokes My Father Never Taught Me, where she laid bare the layers of race, identity, legacy, and love. Rain's story is one of quiet rebellion and radical authenticity. And in living her truth, she showed the world that being a Pryor meant more than punchlines. It meant having the guts to stand alone in your truth, even when the spotlight burns. In 2019, Marlon Wayans made headlines, not for a movie but for something far more meaningful. The comedy star behind hits like Scary Movie and White Chicks posted a simple photo of his daughter, Amai Zackary Wayans, wearing rainbow-themed sneakers. But it was the caption that resonated. Happy Pride to my pride and joy. I wouldn't change one effing thing about you. Love you to the moon, around the sun, through the galaxies, and back again. With that message, Marlon publicly celebrated Amai, who had come out as a lesbian, and in doing so became a symbol of unconditional love in a world that still struggles with acceptance. Amai had privately embraced her identity earlier, choosing to live authentically outside the glare of Hollywood. But her father's public show of support elevated her visibility, especially within the black community, where conversations about sexuality are often more guarded. As the daughter of a major comedy figure, Amai's quiet strength and her father's loud pride sparked national conversation. It was not just about identity, it was about how love should look, bold, unapologetic, and unwavering. Marlon's post was shared across platforms, praised by allies, activists, and fans who saw in it something rare, a black father loudly affirming his queer daughter. In interviews that followed, Marlon said he was learning from his daughter's courage every day. Parental love must come without conditions or judgment, he emphasized. And in standing by Amai, he helped shift the narrative about fatherhood, masculinity, and support in modern America. Their story is not only about coming out, it is about stepping up. Marlon Wayans did not just accept his daughter's truth, he lifted it up for the world to see. And that act, simple yet powerful, reminded us all that true strength begins at home. Dwyane Wade is known around the world for his championship rings, highlight reel plays, and legendary NBA career. But in 2020, he earned a different kind of respect. not for what he did on the court, but for how he showed up off it. That year, at just 12 years old, his daughter Zaya Wade courageously came out as transgender. While most families might have handled that privately, the Wades made a bold choice. They opened up their journey to the world, showing millions what support, learning, and unconditional love truly look like. Zaya's revelation did not come out of nowhere. It followed months of heartfelt conversations within the family, moments filled with questions, tears, understanding, and growth. Dwyane, alongside his wife Gabrielle Union, didn't shy away from the spotlight or the scrutiny. Instead, they used their platform to advocate for their daughter's right to live freely and authentically. Dwyane appeared on national television, openly discussing how he had to educate himself, seek guidance, and listen, really listen, to his child. "My job as a father is to facilitate her journey, not dictate it," he said. In a world where Black masculinity often leaves little room for tenderness or emotional nuance, Wade redefined strength on his own terms. Zaya quickly became a beacon of hope for transgender youth across the globe. With poise beyond her years, she began attending red carpet events, speaking on platforms, and simply being herself, unapologetically. Meanwhile, her father stood firmly beside her, shutting down critics and lifting up a new generation of families learning how to love better. For Dwyane Wade, the titles, trophies, and Olympic medals matter. But helping his daughter thrive in her truth, that may just be the most meaningful victory of his life. Magic Johnson dominated the NBA with charisma, vision, and an unstoppable energy that transformed the game. But perhaps his most powerful legacy did not happen on the hardwood. It unfolded in how he stood by his son, E.J. Johnson, in a time when that kind of love was anything but guaranteed. In 2013, at just 20 years old, E.J. was photographed holding hands with another man in Beverly Hills. The media went wild. Headlines exploded. Speculation surged. But what caught the world's attention more than the gossip was the way Magic responded. Instead of hiding or distancing himself, as so many public figures have, Magic embraced his son publicly and proudly. He told reporters what mattered most: "We are going to love you no matter who you are or what you do." That single statement sent a ripple through the sports world, where being gay, especially as a Black man, was still weighed down by stigma and silence. Magic made it clear, there was no shame here. There was only family, only love. It was a moment of visibility that challenged not just the culture of basketball, but broader conversations around Black fatherhood and LGBTQ+ acceptance. Since coming out, E.J. Johnson has stepped fully into his light. With his bold fashion, gender-fluid style, and sharp confidence, he has become a symbol of self-expression and freedom. Whether on reality television or in fashion circles, E.J. defies every box society tries to place him in. And through it all, Magic Johnson has remained his biggest supporter, beaming with pride and using his platform to encourage others to do the same. Because real greatness is not just about championships, it is about standing tall, not just on the court, but beside your child when the world is watching. Isiah Thomas earned his place in NBA history with heart, grit, and fearless determination. As the leader of the Detroit Pistons during their back-to-back championship years, he was known for being relentless on the court and fiercely loyal to his teammates. But away from the game, another legacy was quietly unfolding. One not built on basketball stats, but on love, resilience, and quiet strength. That legacy lives through his son, Zeke Thomas, a DJ, public speaker, and proud gay man who has become a powerful voice in the LGBTQ+ community. Zeke chose a very different path from his father's. While Isiah ruled the hardwood, Zeke found his rhythm in music and advocacy. He came out as gay early in adulthood, and rather than stepping back from the spotlight, he used his platform to educate, empower, and inspire. But in 2017, Zeke revealed something even deeper: that he had survived a sexual assault at a private event in Los Angeles. His decision to speak publicly about such a deeply personal trauma was rare, especially as a Black gay man in America. Zeke refused to stay silent. Instead, he became an advocate for survivors, breaking through layers of stigma to make space for healing. Throughout Zeke's journey, his father stood beside him, quietly but firmly. While Isiah Thomas rarely discussed family matters publicly, Zeke often spoke of the unwavering love and support he felt at home. It was not always loud, but it was always there. And in a world that often demands men be stoic or detached, Isiah's quiet support sent a message just as powerful as any public statement. Real fathers do not need applause to stand by their children. They just do it, with dignity, with pride, and with love that never wavers. Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith are no strangers to the spotlight. As one of Hollywood's most iconic couples, they've built careers spanning music, film, and television, while raising a family under constant public scrutiny. But amid their success, one of their most powerful moments came not from a red carpet appearance or box office hit. It came from their daughter, Willow Smith, speaking her truth. Known for her breakout single, "Whip My Hair," Willow had long defied convention with her art and style. But in 2021, she took things a step further, publicly coming out as bisexual and expressing openness to polyamorous relationships. It happened during a deeply personal episode of Red Table Talk, the family's now famous platform for open, raw conversations. Sitting across from her mother and grandmother, Willow revealed that she values emotional connection beyond traditional romantic boundaries. Her words were direct, honest, and delivered with a calm bravery that struck millions. "I love men and women equally," she said, explaining her attraction to people rather than labels. The admission was both groundbreaking and risky, especially as the daughter of two globally recognized stars. The internet lit up. Some praised her for her honesty. Others criticized and questioned. But what mattered most was how her parents responded. Will and Jada didn't flinch. They stood by their daughter completely, using their platform to reinforce one simple truth: love is unconditional. Their support offered something rare, a public model of Black parental love that embraced identity in all its forms. While Willow continued evolving as an artist and public thinker, her story became more than just about sexuality. It was about self-definition, about courage, about challenging the rules of fame, family, and identity, all at once. And through it all, her parents didn't just support from behind, they stood beside her, every step of the way. For years, Robert Sylvester Kelly was considered one of the biggest names in R&B, with a catalog of hits that shaped a generation. But behind the stage lights and chart-topping success, a very different story unfolded within his own family, one that had nothing to do with fame and everything to do with identity. In 2014, his then 14-year-old child made a deeply personal revelation. Jay Kelly came out as a transgender boy. The announcement, made through social media, was met with both praise and criticism, as Jay stepped into the public eye to live as his true self. Jay's journey was never about spectacle. It was about truth. From an early age, he had shown bold individuality and a sense of self that pushed against society's expectations. But coming out publicly, especially at such a young age and as the child of a high-profile figure, came with intense pressure. While many admired Jay's bravery, others responded with confusion, ignorance, or even hostility. Reflections of a world still learning how to respect and support transgender youth. Jay began attending events, speaking openly, and sharing his life as Robert Sylvester Kelly's son, not the daughter the world once thought they knew. Through it all, he stayed firm in his identity, refusing to let the noise shake his foundation. Sadly, the support Jay needed most did not fully come from within his own family. Robert Sylvester Kelly's public response was distant, vague acknowledgments, no strong affirmation. It was a painful absence that spoke volumes. And yet, Jay continued forward, drawing strength not from his father's approval, but from his own resolve. He became a quiet but powerful figure of inspiration, especially for young transgender individuals navigating similar paths. His story reminds us that sometimes the most courageous thing you can do is choose yourself, even when the people closest to you cannot. And in doing so, J. Kelly became a symbol of resilience far greater than any last name. Cynthia Bailey built her reputation in front of cameras, first as a model, then as a beloved star of The Real Housewives of Atlanta. Known for her poise, elegance, and grace under pressure, she handled fame like a seasoned pro. But it was off-screen, in a quiet, deeply personal moment with her daughter Noelle Robinson, that Cynthia showed the world what strength and love truly look like. In 2019, during a candid episode of the show, Noelle shared with her mother and millions of viewers that she identifies as sexually fluid. There was no dramatic buildup, no media frenzy, just a heartfelt conversation in a car, where Noelle explained that she was attracted to people, not genders. Her words were thoughtful, sincere, and deeply honest. "It really just came out of nowhere," she said. "I just wasn't expecting to fall for a girl." What made that moment so powerful was not just Noelle's courage, it was Cynthia's immediate and unwavering response. "If you meet an amazing young lady, that's a blessing," she said without hesitation. That one sentence, so simple yet so full of love, resonated across communities where acceptance is often withheld or delayed. Cynthia's support for Noelle became a quiet revolution in itself. As a public figure, she used her platform not for drama, but for affirmation. She showed viewers that love does not need to be loud to be life-changing. For Noelle, that support meant everything. She continued exploring her identity with confidence, and her openness inspired a wave of young people to live more authentically. In a culture where labels often divide and expectations weigh heavy, the Robinson-Bailey story stood out. Not because it was dramatic, but because it was real. A mother listened. A daughter spoke her truth. And together, they showed millions how powerful acceptance can be. Michael Jordan's name is synonymous with greatness. With 6 NBA championships, global fame, and a legacy that transcends basketball, he is often seen as the very definition of perfection under pressure. But in 2023, the world caught a glimpse of another kind of strength, one rooted not in athletic domination but in quiet, powerful support. That year, his daughter Jasmine Jordan publicly came out as a lesbian, confirming what those closest to her had known and accepted long before. Her truth became public at a fashion event in New York City, where she appeared confidently with her partner by her side, sparking headlines and conversations across social media. For Jasmine, the moment was not about making a statement. It was about no longer hiding. In a heartfelt public post, she wrote, "I'm done hiding. It's time to live my truth." Those words, simple yet profound, echoed far beyond the fashion world. They spoke to young LGBTQ+ people who had been waiting for someone like Jasmine, someone from a family of legends, to show them that authenticity matters more than legacy. Coming from the daughter of one of the most revered athletes in history, her message hit differently. It was not just a personal victory. It was a cultural moment, especially in communities where silence around sexuality still lingers. Michael Jordan, often seen as intensely private and emotionally reserved, did not rush to the spotlight with statements or interviews. But behind the scenes, he reached out to trusted friends, quietly seeking guidance on how to best support his daughter. And when it mattered most, his stance was crystal clear. Unconditional love, unwavering pride. For Jasmine, that support gave her the space to stand tall in her identity. And for the rest of us, it offered a reminder that real legacy is not just measured in titles and trophies. It is measured in how you show up when the world is watching, and how you love when no one else knows what to say. Khary Payton is best known for giving voice to heroes. Whether as the brave Ezekiel in The Walking Dead or the iconic cyborg in Teen Titans Go, he has spent years breathing life into characters who stand strong in the face of adversity. But his most powerful role was not scripted. It was deeply personal. In 2020, Khary took to social media to introduce his son Carter to the world, a moment that was not about fame, but about truth, pride, and love. "This is my kid," he wrote, "one of the most happy, well-adjusted individuals I've ever known. My son, Carter." With those few words, Khary joined a growing chorus of parents choosing love over fear, support over silence. Carter, a transgender boy, had chosen his name and identity himself. There was no press tour, no flashy headline, just a father honoring his child's truth with the kind of quiet dignity that speaks louder than any Hollywood storyline. What made the moment even more powerful was its simplicity. Khary did not frame Carter's identity as a challenge or a burden. He celebrated it as a joy. And by sharing it publicly, he offered a powerful model of what unconditional acceptance looks like. Not just for fans, but for families everywhere. Especially in Black communities where discussions around gender identity can still be met with resistance or misunderstanding. The Paytons' story may not have made front-page news, but its impact ran deep. Khary used his platform not for attention, but for visibility, at a time when transgender youth are too often misunderstood or ignored. His post became a quiet revolution, a reminder that parenting is not about molding a child into someone they are not. It is about protecting who they already are. Carter's journey continues, and Khary stands proudly by his side. Because sometimes, the most heroic thing you can do is show up for your child, without conditions, without fear, and with love that speaks volumes even in silence. Coko Clemons, the powerhouse voice behind the R&B group SWV, helped define the sound of the 1990s. With hits like Weak and Rain, she captivated millions with her vocal range and raw emotion. But behind the stage lights and soulful melodies, Coko faced one of life's most profound and personal journeys, supporting her son Jalen Clemons as he embraced his identity within the LGBTQ+ community. Long before any formal announcement, Jalen caught public attention for his fearless fashion and expressive individuality. With bold choices and unapologetic presence, he challenged traditional gender norms in every appearance. For years, fans speculated about Jalen's identity, but he did not rush to explain himself. He lived visibly and boldly, not for approval, but because that was who he was. Then, in 2016, he publicly confirmed that he identified as part of the LGBTQ+ community. The response from his mother was immediate and full of warmth. Coko did not flinch or hesitate. She called her son a blessing and made it clear in interviews and social media posts that her love for him was unwavering. In an industry where such affirmations are still far too rare, especially from figures with strong ties to faith, her stance was both powerful and refreshing. Jalen's decision to live openly was more than just a personal milestone. It became a message of empowerment to others walking a similar path. And Coco's public embrace of her son offered hope to parents everywhere who might still be learning how to respond. Their story is not just about music or identity, it is about faith, family, and fierce love. In showing that faith and LGBTQ+ acceptance can coexist, Coko Clemons delivered a message louder than any chart-topping song. That real love does not come with conditions. It comes with open arms, proud words, and the courage to stand together. Sade Adu has always been a mystery. With her velvety voice and timeless hits like Smooth Operator and No Ordinary Love, she built a legacy of elegance, privacy, and quiet power. Rarely giving interviews and fiercely guarding her personal life, Sade seemed untouchable, a figure of cool distance in an industry obsessed with exposure. But when her child, Isaac Theo Adu, came out as a transgender man, that protective silence transformed into something far more profound. A quiet, unshakable act of love. Isaac began transitioning in 2016, slowly sharing his journey with the world through thoughtful posts on social media. He never chased the spotlight, only authenticity. And in 2019, following gender confirmation surgery, he posted a heartfelt message to the person who had stood by him from the beginning. "Thank you for staying by my side these past 6 months, Mama." That simple sentence said it all. Sade had never been one to issue press releases or social statements, but through her presence, her consistency, and her love, she supported her son every step of the way. No cameras, no applause, just quiet, unwavering strength. In a world where transgender youth often face rejection, and in communities of color where acceptance is still evolving, Sade's role as a loving, affirming parent carried enormous weight. She may never have shouted her support from a stage, but through Isaac's words and confidence, the message was clear. She showed up, fully, faithfully, and without hesitation. Today, Isaac is a vocal advocate for trans rights, using his experience to inspire others. And through him, Sade's legacy extends beyond music. It is a legacy of courage, compassion, and love that does not need to be loud to be life-changing. In Nigeria, being gay is not just taboo, it is criminalized, condemned, and often met with fear and silence. So when Bolu Okupe, the son of a high-ranking Nigerian political figure, posted a photo of himself holding a rainbow flag on Instagram in January 2021, the world took notice. "Yes, I'm gay," he wrote, unapologetic, clear, and defiant. His father, Dr. Doyin Okupe, had once served as a presidential advisor and was known for his conservative views. The backlash was instant, intense, and often cruel. But Bolu stood firm. In a country where coming out can mean exile or worse, he chose to live his truth. Bolu later explained that he had known he was gay since the age of 10. Though he spent time living in Europe, he clarified that his identity had nothing to do with Western influence. It was simply who he was. The media swarmed with questions, assumptions, and political commentary. But Bolu refused to be politicized. He was not trying to make a statement for his father's sake. He was making one for himself and for the many young Nigerians hiding in fear. His boldness cracked open a door that had long been sealed shut in Nigeria's national discourse on LGBTQ+ rights. And whether the public was ready or not, Bolu was. Today, Bolu Okupe continues to live abroad, using his platform to advocate for equality and visibility. He speaks out not just for himself, but for a generation silenced by shame. He dreams of having children one day, a simple wish wrapped in extraordinary courage. And though his relationship with his father has been complicated, it is Bolu's story, his voice, his fight, his refusal to shrink, that is reshaping the future. In a world that often punishes those who live honestly, Bolu Okupe chose pride. And by doing so, he lit a path for others still trying to find their way out of the shadows. Every name on this list reminds us of one thing. Love is louder than fear. These stars did more than support their LGBTQ+ children. They changed what it means to be a parent in the spotlight. Which story moved you most? Drop it in the comments, and if you believe in visibility, truth, and fierce family pride, subscribe to LGBTQ+ Vibes and share this message far and wide. Because this is not just a video, it is a movement.